Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another book review. I just read What It's Like to Be a Dog and Other Adventures in Animal Neuroscience. This is written by Gregory Burns. And he doesn't only talk about the dog project, but he also mentions dolphins and birds, and he gets into marsupials, mainly in Australia, and pigeon languages for dogs, which is very interesting. And he says it actually transcends syntax. He's talking here about Tasmanian tiger. Why they were actually named Tasmanian tigers is because they had stripes, and they're more like anteaters. The anteater is actually closer to Tasmanian tiger. The actual name is a thylacine. They're called thylacines. And it said that the thylacine went extinct. But that's not necessarily true, because I actually saw a video. I didn't click on it. I was curious because I've always been intrigued by the thylacine. But it speaks of how there are sightings of thylacines. And they talk about the thylacine brain. And it's a little bit bigger than a common dog. And it's intriguing how we study some animal brains, but not all animal brains. And he believes that we should be an advocate, those of us who support this, to understand how animals really communicate. Because all animals have different methodologies of communication. He talks about seal pups, and it's really quite fascinating. This whole book is just rife with information. And he said it might be too late because by 2020 a lot of these animals might go extinct. But then he says something that gave me pause, as I thought, why would this be in a neurobiology or neuroscience book? But he speaks of Homo sapiens and how Homo sapiens might become kind of obsolete if we continue down our path of technology and AI, and we might be relegated to human zoos. And I was just watching something on AI on on YouTube, and I thought, I mean, I'm a futurist in the broadest sense of the word futurist, but I'm pragmatic, and I'm practical. I don't think technology is a solution for everything. I think that human beings we're innovative. We can come up with solutions without the aid of technology. We have for years. I mean, why would we use it now? I'm just saying. But anyways, there are other methods around that. We could be a whole lot more innovative if we just put our minds to it and put our collective thoughts together. But I thought, well, yeah, it's true. Human beings are animals. We're of the genus Homo. We're Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens sapiens. And I thought about that for a moment, and then I thought about what he said, and I thought it was kind of grim. But then I thought, well, I'm just hoping it never comes to that, because I watched that whole series on National Geographic or Discovery, and it just, not having that humanity, it begs the question, doesn't it? But it was very interesting that would be in there as kind of a forewarning. I thought, well, I'm glad he said that, because Philip K. Dick did, Asimov did, I mean, even Andy Warhol did, and these are people from completely different walks of life, just giving you kind of apocalyptic. That word apocalyptic isn't really, doom and gloom. It's just kind of, it's the word apocalypse, or apocalyptos, means lifting of the veil. I know a little Greek. So it's not all dire straits, but that I thought was very intriguing. And also the other forewarning was, let's be an advocate. Let's continue to do our research. And he had the ARC project. He mentioned that. There's a website. I forget what it is. But yeah, I thought that was all very revealing and very telling as to where our priorities should lie. And I'm thinking what he said about, if we understand animals, we can understand more about ourselves as well, and how to communicate, because we all know that we're given stewardship over the creatures of this planet. I mean, Genesis says so, if you read your Bible. But we're meant to be caretakers and co-creators of this planet, and it's not just a planet. This is a whole universe. We're just given a planet. There are those of us like myself, I hate to say that, but I want to travel the universe, even though I know I would never travel all of it. It would just be like a point, very, 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 very small, like point. I mean, so many times. It would be so many O's that there would be so many O's that you couldn't even put them on one page, and then one. There would be a very, 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 very infinitesimally small, minuscule percentile of me traveling the whole entire universe, as none of us could. We can't. It's just not possible. As far as the whole Neil deGrasse Tyson, the whole edge, the universe thing, kind of wondering if there's a restaurant there. Sorry for the reference. Nobody's going to get that except for Terry Pratchett fans and Hitchhiker of the Galaxy fans. But anyways, yeah, I don't really believe in the whole end of the universe thing. I can't really believe that there would be a finality, because the universe just goes on forever. Anyways, he just talks about being an advocate and lending our voice to those who have none. And he says that different brains have different capacities for understanding and logic and just motor skills, etc. And one thing I thought was interesting is he mentioned this gyrus in the human brain. I forget what it's called, but it's supposed to understand beat and rhythm, and how Darwin and Spencer got into an argument about animals don't really understand music. I think Darwin was right. I think Darwin was on to something. Spencer was just like, he didn't believe in what Darwin believed. I thought, whatever. Spencer, you're an old fart. Anyways, I like Darwin better. But I think Darwin and I would have gotten along very well. Spencer's just a fuddy-duddy. He was like, animals don't have a sense of rhythm. I beg to differ. They do. And actually it talks about that, and it goes into great detail, and he talks about how animals would respond to praise versus food. And he said, even for human beings with complex mechanisms in their thought process, it's that way with our decision making, and it's with career, spouse, our choice of spouse, whether we should go to a concert or go to our work, or it's like really, really important decisions that we have to make on a daily basis. One could mean life or death. Oh, I have to go. Or it could be like me. I have one of those coming up, and it's not a dire situation, but I have to go to work. I'm going to go to work, and I don't have to go to the concert until later, so I can do both. So it works out well for me. But for the person who goes into work realizing, I really have to have this job, I need it to make my money and pay my bills, and there's a concert coming up I really want to go to, and I can't go. But it's a once-in-a-lifetime concert. It's like, I'm going to use one of my favorite bands. Rush is coming into town, and they're not going to be in town for another, decade. No! They're coming, and they're never coming back. But, oh man, that would suck. But it's just, that's a very extreme example of how they would have to go to work, for the drudgery, and they wouldn't have, it's like they didn't have enough hours to take off, and they have to go to work. There's just no other. It's if then, it's like, I have to. You are relegated, it's mandatory. It's not relegation. It's absolutely, it behooves you to do this. But it's really quite interesting. And let's see, Mr. Burns, Berns, not Burns, but C. Montgomery. Sorry, I had to make that reference too. This is really recent, I do believe. Let's see when this was written. Oh, yeah, this is very recent. This was written last year, believe it or not. First edition, September 2017. Good Lord. I just found this in the library, and of course the title just, it sparked my interest. I thought, oh my God, I have to read this, because I've read a lot of books on neuroscience, like The Mind on Fire and Still Alice, and I'm fascinated by the brain and Mind Wide Open, and this is more of animals. And if you're like me and you're an animal lover, you're gonna love it. It opens your mind. Sorry for the puns, but I'm just gonna conclude with what he actually says. Yeah, I hate when he talks about saying, oh, we're going to be relegated to zoos. I'm like, please, no. I don't want to go through that. What Sophia said, just, ugh. Yeah, the android? Yeah, no. Put that aside. Let's see. 2/3 of many species populations may be gone by 2020. I just mentioned that. Apart from the these are his words. Apart from the ecological catastrophe, scientific opportunities may be lost forever. It's imperative that we begin the archival process for all species. So it's kind of like if you go to Norway, they have a seed bank. And I think this is absolutely ingenious. And I'm just so hopeful that it continues, that they continue cataloging and categorizing and writing, because that's important. And so to some people, they may think, well, that's just stupid. No, it's not. It's not stupid at all. They're being smart. Anyway, that's imperative. Okay, especially for megafauna, that's this sentient creatures. We can preserve information about their brains at the highest fidelity possible with our current technology. Such information may also help conservation by determining how animals adapt to specific environments. It may even help advocate for the animals who can't speak for themselves. And yeah, I really like that. I think that's just very positive statements. And his information here is just sensational. And of course, remember I read about jellyfish. He talks about jellyfish too, and that they really don't have a brain in and of itself. And they're very, very unusual creatures. Let's see. Talks about the thylacine. Yep, and how some animals recognize faces. Cats don't really care. I had to laugh about that. I thought, yeah, cats just don't give any crap about anybody or anything. Just, oh, feed me, love me. Oh, I'm a diva. But cats, who needs them? I have one. What am I saying? I love my dog better, actually. I'm more of a dog person. But that is the whole basis of the... And I like the illustration... Well, it's not really illustrations, but... well, yeah, they do have illustrations, and they have x-rays of a dog, their brain... That's pretty much the MRI, I should say, but that's pretty much all I gotta say. It's not long at all. It's only, let's see, well, including the notes, the index, just the references, going back to where you can find these actual snippets here, like the pointing indications when they did the testing. It's 301 pages. Mr. Burns, he's a PhD, he's an MD. Huh, okay, it didn't really, yeah, I did mention that. What am I talking about? He's a professor of psychology at Emory. He directs the Center of Neuropolicy? Okay, that must be a new, field. And the Facility for Education and Research in Neuroscience. He is the author of several books, including the New York Times bestseller, How Dogs Walk. Oh, now I hadn't read that, but that title, now that I read that actual title, I think, oh, okay, I've heard of you, Dr. Burns. He lives in Atlanta with his wife and too many dogs. Father of dogs. Fear me, my army, my pack of wild animals. They'll eat you alive. Anyway, sorry, I'm going into imaginary world there, but that's all I got to say. So, my little update. Let's see. I applied for a job at Barnes & Noble, which I didn't get. They said that somebody was more qualified, so I applied for a position at the local library. It's a genealogical position. I do have some background in genealogy, my own genealogy, but I can do research and development. I do a lot of research and development for friends all the time. I don't get paid. I love to do it. But I thought, okay, I'll take a chance. And of course, there's a half price books not too far from where I am, so I'm going to try that and see what happens. It's worth a shot. I mean, the worst they can say is no, which I wouldn't like to hear, because I really, 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 really want to work for the library. I mean, I want to do that. I want to do that so I can help other people and maybe collaborate with other people in getting my project off the ground, which is it's a community project. It's for a building that would help people help themselves. I'm going to keep saying it, but I'm not going to say the name, because if I do, somebody else might take my name. So I'm not going to say the name of the company in mind. But for the company that I have, it's just the idea of basic trade school. But it's more than that. It's an opportunity for people to learn how to budget their finances properly. And they would be working with those in the field who know their trade or craft well. And they can chase their dreams. And I know a lot about ethics, even though I've taken only a couple classes. But it was enough to teach me this is what is really needed in our society as a whole, and even His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, agrees with me. But that's the status right now. I'm going to be posting a fanfic that Bright Star and I just recently finished. It's going to be on Blogger, and I'm going to have, let's see, some Eros, a new script. I'm working on some new scripts. I have a new chimichanga. I'm doing St. Patrick's Day, 420, and after 420 is Easter. So that's going to be coming up. And that's keeping me busy. I got a whole bunch of scripts. Like I said, an Eros, another Eros. I'm going to work on another Eros with a friend of mine, a collaboration. But I'm going to be doing another fanfic. It's an MMPR Justice League, more Wonder Woman tie. It's a Wonder Woman tie-in with Themyscira, because we really like. I'm a big Wonder Woman fan. But that's pretty much all I got to say for now. So I'll see you later. Live long, prosper. Ciao, tutti.